Hello! Another river book for the river. How very clever of you, Mimzie. Feelings Flow and Change Like the River by Tom Percival. Look at the little boy playing with the puppy dog. Oh, that is so sweet. My puppy dogs like to play in the river, and my little boys too. All right. The river. Let's get right on into this. All right. So this was donated for Sage August Taylor. I think it's important to acknowledge that. His name is Rowan. I love that name. Rowan sat beneath his favorite tree, looking out at the hills which encircled his home like a hug. Rowan loved everything about this place, but most of all, he loved the river. Oh, same, Rowan, same. I just love this. Look at the cows. We have cows in our river sometimes. They're not always alive, but we do have cows. Sometimes the river can be quiet and calm, like today. Just like Rowan. Rowan can be quiet and calm. See, they're leaning up against a tree. My river is quiet and calm today, too. But sometimes it's all the way up here where Mimzie's sitting. Sometimes the river could be light and playful, just like Rowan. That's how Charlie is. Charlie used to play in the river like that when he was a little pup. And sometimes, just sometimes, the river roared past, wild and angry, just like Rowan. See Rowan's angry face? Ooh. But neither of them stayed angry for long. Sometimes my river acts very angry too. One year, there was a very cruel winter. Rowan felt as cold and alone as the moon. Wind whipped past, snow fell in flurries, and ever so slowly, the river began to freeze. Now, Mimzie's river, I don't know that it's ever froze. You know, it doesn't get that cold in Arkansas. But my pipes will sure enough freeze. Rowan's parents tried to cheer him up with kind words and hugs, and it almost worked. But not enough to thaw the frozen river. Sometimes winters can make people sad. Sometimes dogs can make people sad. Rowan tried to think of happier times, but it just felt so hard. He's sad because his river's froze. And so the time passed. Spring blustered in, flowers popped up in the fields, but still the river stayed frozen. Look at that, a frozen waterfall. That's crazy. Summer blossomed and birds sang in the clear blue skies, but still the river stayed frozen. Something's not right here, because if it's summertime, how is the river frozen? I'm missing the bigger picture here. There's got to be more to this story. Let's look at the pictures. And then, just as autumn was approaching and the leaves were beginning to curl, something remarkable happened. Rowan heard a rustling in the undergrowth. Well, around here, if I heard rustling in the undergrowth, it'd probably be a armadillo. An injured bird was tangled up in the brambles. Brambles are like berry bushes, sticker bushes, briars, or way the old people around here say briars. I think I sounded the same way twice. I guess that means I'm an old people. Softly, gently, Rowan picked the bird up and hurried home. He fed the bird and cared for its wounds. Shoot, with that bird flu going around, you better leave that bird. If you see a bird on the ground, you tell it grown up, because we don't want you to get sick, because sometimes birds have worms. I've seen it with my eyes. These eyes. The next day, the bird seemed a little better. Rowan smiled, and outside on the frozen river, tiny droplets of water appeared. By the end of the week, the bird was looking a lot better. Rowan grinned, and his eyes lit up. Does Rowan look like he's got a happy face? Beneath the ice, the river began to stir. You reckon that river is a metaphor for Rowan's heart? I don't know. I hear Papa fussing at the puppies. It wasn't long before Rowan took the bird outside to set it free. Carefully, he opened the box, and in a flurry of excitement, the bird flew out. Isn't that a pretty bird? Rowan laughed as the bird soared into the sky. Whole chunks of ice broke free on the river. The bird circled around and landed on a nearby branch. Rowan looked at the bird. The bird looked at Rowan. Hey, bud. Rowan took a step. The bird took a hop. Rowan ran and the bird kept up, following wherever he went. Rowan walked on and the bird flew alongside. They're hanging out like homies. Rowan and the bird. Where's his puppy friend? Look at him playing over here. Rowan and the bird. Rowan didn't even notice as the final pieces of ice melted and the warm river flowed freely once more. So it was a pretty river. Over the years, Rowan came to realize that he could be just like the river. There's Rowan in the river. Happy and light, slow and sad, wild and angry, and everything in between. Ooh, Rowan's growing up. We see you, Rowan. But one thing was certain, the river was always changing, just like Rowan. Well, that was a sweet story. I just love a good river book, and the pictures were quite lovely, just like you're quite lovely. And just guess what? Don't ever forget that Mimzie loves you.